Have you ever thought about adding remote start to your vehicle, but were worried about a difficult and expensive installation? Well, I might have just found the solution for you, and that is the StartX Remote Start Kit, which is available for most vehicles. Now, what makes this kit different is that they have designed this to be almost plug and play, where we won't have to deal with cutting wires, soldering, electrical tape. They have added connectors in here so we can interface directly to our vehicle, reducing the labor and installation process, and also allows us to use our existing car remote. And on this video, I'm gonna show you the contents of this kit, how it works, and the installation process for it. As always, I'd like to remind you that I place a link in the description down below to this kit in case you wanna get one for yourself. But with that said, let's get started. First off, we get the remote start module, and we also get the harness that is gonna connect this module to our car to enable remote start. We also get an instruction manual, which is in English and in full color. We also get a set of zip ties to tie any loose cables, and we also get a spatula to help with the installation process. But before we go to the car, let's get familiar with the actual cable harness. These three ends right here are gonna go to the vehicle. These ends right here are gonna go to the remote start kit. Now also notice that the ends are all different sizes, so there's really no way I can confuse them, and some of them also have been color coded. So as you can see, the red is gonna go into the red, the white is gonna go into the white, and so on. Now for the side that is gonna go to the vehicle, the same thing applies. All the connectors are different, so there's really, again, no way I can get these things mixed up. Now that you're familiar with the three ends that go to the vehicle and all the ends that go to the module, let's go over to the vehicle for installation. But before I move over to the installation process, I'm gonna disconnect the vehicle's battery for safety. And I'll start by removing three screws that hold the steering wheel cover. One on this side, one on the other side, and one screw on the bottom of the steering wheel cover. And I'll turn the steering wheel to one side so I have access to the screw on the right hand side. Then I'll turn the steering wheel the other way and remove the screw on the left hand side. And finally, I'm gonna remove the screw from the bottom of the steering wheel cover. Now I'm gonna pry the cover apart by pressing on the back and using the included spatula tool to separate the two halves. Now I can repeat the process for the other side and be able to remove the steering wheel cover. Now I have access to this connector right here. Now this connector is gonna be disconnected by pushing on the little tab, and then I can pull it straight out. Now I'm gonna find a connector that looks identical on my new harness, and yep, sure enough, that one matches. So I'm gonna plug that into the connector by pushing it all the way in until it fully bottoms out and locks in place. Now I can take the original connector I disconnected and connect it to the other side of the harness. Next, I'll push the rest of the harness into the interior of the car so it can connect to the BCM. Now, where is the BCM? Well, for that, I'm gonna pull the panel on the side, again using the spatula and my hands to gently free that up, and then I can just pull that panel right off. And the BCM is hidden inside of there. You can see that is the BCM. Now, it may be possible that I can access that through here if I had a very small hand and was very flexible, but I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room to access these two connectors. And for that, I'm gonna remove this cover right here. There's a single screw that I have to remove. It's next to the OBD2 port. Once that screw is removed, I can loosen the panel by pushing on this clip and then pulling this thing to give me enough clearance. Now it's just a matter of grabbing onto this panel and gently I'm prying on it so it pulls off from the body. And there it is. Now I have access to the BCM. And here's the two connectors that I'm gonna be playing with, which I have labeled as number 2 and number 3. And I'll start with connector number 2. I'm gonna push in the tab to release it, and then I am able to pull the connector straight out. Now I can repeat the process for connector number 3. I'm gonna push on the tab and the connector can come out. Now, using the harness, I found a connector that looks just like the connector number 2. That one matches it, so I'm gonna connect this directly to the BCM into that connector 2 position. I'm gonna line this up and then push in until it fully locks and sits in place. Now I'll take the existing connector from the car and connect it to the other side of the harness, and same process as before, I'm gonna line the connector up and then push it in until it locks in place. Moving over to connector number 3, I'm gonna connect that into the remote start harness by lining it up and then fully pushing it in until it locks in place. Now I can take the other end of the harness and reconnect it into that position for connector number 3. I'm gonna line this up, gently push until it fully locks in place. And now that the connections to the BCM are complete, I can reinstall the panel by aligning it up and then pushing it in until it fully locks in place. And now that the harness has been installed, I'm gonna reconnect my vehicle's battery, and now I can move over to programming the remote start module. And the only thing left to connect is the remote start module. And as you can see, I have 5 connectors, but I need to start with the black one. And there's a little programming button that I have to press and hold before I connect it. I'm holding the button down, I'm gonna connect the black connector, and the light sequence is gonna begin. When this light sequence turns into a blue color, I'm gonna be able to let go of the button and it should stay blue, indicating that the first part of programming is complete. And now I can plug the rest of the connectors into the remote start module. And the last programming step is pressing the push to start button 2 times without touching the brake pedal. Once the lights are flashing, programming is now complete. Now that programming is complete, all I have to do is hide the module somewhere underneath the trim, probably over here, but I'm gonna try somewhere up here. I think there's quite a bit of space up there. I'm just gonna feed that module and the remaining of the harness into place. I'm gonna catch that little module and find a nice little spot for it right here, where I'm gonna secure it along with the cables with some zip ties. Now I can reinstall all panels. I'm also gonna place this sticker that they included underneath the hood for safety. And now let's test out the StartX Remote Start Kit. And as you can see, I have my OEM remote right now and the car is locked. And if I click this remote 3 times, it is gonna begin the remote start sequence. Now you'll notice that there's something built into the car where it makes the emergency lights flash. There's a small delay and then the car remote starts. Now I'm assuming those lights flashing and that delay is for safety to let people know that, hey, the car is about to remote start. Now I'm fairly close to the car, but you could potentially remote start this vehicle further away. The range is controlled by the original range of your OEM remote. So if you are having trouble remote starting this from far, you may be outside of your remote's range, or the remote battery may be a little bit low and you might want to change that out for anyone. And in case you wanted to turn off the car remotely, it's the same process, just clicking on it 3 times and the car is going to automatically turn off. So hopefully this video has given you an idea on what the typical installation process looks like for a StartX Remote Start Kit. Very different from traditional remote start kits where you have to cut, solder wires and deal with electrical tape. Now while this video is specific to the Toyota Corolla, they do have these kits available for many other cars and models. I'll put links to those in the description down below. And if you guys have any other questions regarding this kit, please put that in the comments. And if you found any part of this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button to support the channel and stay tuned as I have a lot more cool car gadgets coming up for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.